Hello, welcome and good morning to our e-learning classes in CVM Higher Secondary English Medium School. Today we are going to talk about the last topic of the Unit 5 test, which is about to held on 28th December this week. So the title of the topic is Indigo by Louis Hisker. Now, what is this indigo? You must be surprised. Indigo means a blue color, right? Generally, indigo is taken as a blue color. But here, in this chapter, indigo means the crop obtained, right? A crop from which blue dye can be obtained. A crop from which a blue dye can be obtained. This is about an indigo. This chapter is a very important chapter in Mahatma Gandhi's life. Why? Because it turned their motto for the whole life throughout, which they have led as the leader and the national father later on after this Champaran incident. Now, what is this Champaran? Gandhiji struggled for the peasants of the Champaran. Gandhiji struggled for the peasants of the Champaran, where most of the arable land owned by British government, it was divided into two large parts, and much of the part was covered by these British people, these English landlords, and the peasants there were the tenants. The peasants who were there at Champaran were the tenants, and whatever they reap throughout the year, they have to surrender the entire harvest to this Englishman, to these landlords, to these British people as a rent, and many of the peasants, as they are poor and less educated and afraid of these English people, British people, those who were ruling over the Champaran, were afraid of these English people. Peasants were afraid of such ruler, and most probably all the peasants, those who were crushed and feared and poor, and agreed to give their entire harvest to this Englishman, to this British man. But some of them had confusion, and that's why this injustice to the poor peasants were looked after by one such peasant, namely Rajkumar Sukla. He was not agreed, he boiled up, and he decided to meet the Gandhi. So he went to the Gandhi and met him to the Lucknow, and then to Bihar and Patna. He accompanied Gandhi till the time he could convince the Gandhi that the peasants of Champaran are getting exploited and they are having injustice, and they are suffering from the ruler of such Englishmen, British people, those who are the landlord. And Gandhiji took this as a challenge and he accompanied Rajkumar Sukla, one of the peasants who opposed the voice against the British people. It was not enough. It was not enough because 15% were agreed to give their harvest, to surrender their harvest, as they were the tenants and they couldn't do anything. But those who were confused and those who were not ready to accept this all got the support of this Rajkumar Sukla. Then he also came after Mahatma Gandhi to Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad, and from there they boarded for the Patna, and there he laid with Gandhi to a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad. He went to Rajendra Prasad's house. As Gandhi's motto for the life was a simple living and high thinking. He saw that the people of the India, most of the people of the country are relying upon this peasantry, and he went to Rajendra Prasad's house. Again here, he was mistaken by the servant of the Rajendra Prasad's house. With the very much appearance and look of Mahatma Gandhi, simple dhoti made him mistook that Mahatma Gandhi is also a poor peasant. And that's what the misunderstanding by the servant like Rajendra Prasad's house. Again, there they discussed about the punishment, the injustice done to the peasants by the British government in discussion, and they put forward all the charges and punishments and all the facts related to the peasants before this Rajendra Prasad. Now Rajendra Prasad, after hearing them in a detail, he also came to the conclusion that yes, these peasants are being injusticed by the British government, and with Rajendra Prasad, several other lawyers and other people also joined, means they all supported supported the facts and charges done to the peasants by this British government. The result was that finally the British government, again, as the German had developed a synthetic indigo, they were in no more need of this indigo, and only 15% who had to give their agreed to give their indigo to the British government. British government also find it proper, and peasants finally got justice. The justice was not enough, but peasants' confidence and their role in fighting against the British government with the help of Rajkumar Sukla and in court by Rajendra Prasad proved a greater victory in favor of them. And finally Gandhi thought that this freedom is not just enough, the peasant should be made quite strong. He must have education, health and hygiene, and in order to do so, he also made the arrangement for their education, their health and the hygiene. And that's how the whole Champaran incident proved a very success for not only for Mahatma Gandhi and peasants, but for the whole country that took this challenge, as British governments got away from this strict law in the end. And that's how the Indigo, the story of this play, comes to an end. I hope you must have followed it. It was just the incident of the peasants' exploitation by British government for their arable land, for which the 15% were agreed to surrender their entire harvest, and list followed with Rajkumar Sukla in the court. Rajendra Prasad, he fought in favor of the peasants. Finally, all the facts and charges were accepted and peasants got freedom out of this entire harvest surrendering. And that's how the chapter comes to an end. That's all for today. I hope you must have followed it. Thank you very much.